Hey guys, Gemma from ASD Rocks. So I was having a really great conversation with my amazing therapist, Carlo from Clear Thoughts Psychology yesterday. I was telling him all of these things. So I was showing him the videos of all the things that have happened, like, you know, Bo eating a hamburger and of, that one where Bo speaks scientifically to me and I didn't understand what he was saying. And I was saying to him, like, I'm really worried because up until now, I've always known that every word that Bo has ever said that's come out of his mouth, it's always come from me. I've always known because I'm the one that taught him every word, every sentence. And now he's completely changed his vocabulary. He's in year 10, he's doing year 11 VCE psychology. He's clearly adopting like a language. And I actually said, I really feel like I've got Sheldon Cooper from like The Big Bang Theory, because Bo's never been like that before, but now all of a sudden he's using words that aren't layman's terms. So I'm not understanding necessarily what he wants or what he needs. And what I'm also really worried about is that he's starting to hear phrases and he's not using them in the right context at all. So, for example, the other day when I asked him if he'd finished his psychology homework, and he was like, no, I didn't do it because the questions are loaded. I was like, don't think they are. Hey, Bo, if you could change one thing about me, physically, what would it be? That's a loaded question. I promise you, your homework, your psychology homework, they're not loaded questions. And then the other day, oh my God, I had this massive fight with him because he was just on his way down to do the tiniest bit of chemistry homework, brilliant, had to do it. And I sort of called him into the bathroom and I was like, hey buddy, you know how you have like a psychology tutor, your chemistry, physics, maths, it's beyond me. Even your psychology, which I studied, is beyond. It's like your language, because people still come and say I have a sore arm. They don't talk about their somatic, primary sensor cortex. Anyway, so I said, did you know that we can, like, if you want, we can get you a tutor for any of those? And he looks at me and he goes, look, I've just really been roped into this question. And I lost my shit because I said to him, do you know what? I said, that's so rude. That is so rude. I'm offering you help. I've called you in here. I know you were on your way to do something, but I'm offering you help. And you've just turned around and said something really rude. And I said, you really have to understand, like, if you say that to a teacher, that will be perceived as being extremely rude. He also told the teacher the other day, apparently, there's a lot of things that are going on socially, speech-wise, or whatever, that aren't connecting for him. He thinks he's got a grasp on these phrases, but he's using them in the wrong context. And he said to his teacher, what did he say? Something about being really triggered, like that she was being really triggering. And he just meant that not that she was doing it, but that he was really sort of exhausted or triggered or whatever words he uses. Like, like the other video just now when yesterday or the day before when he said that he was in a frenzy right? So all of these words for a kid who, you know, literally up to the age of, you know, I mean, I remember easily at 5, he was only around 3 words. 6, 7, we were starting to get sentences. 8, 9, 10, you know, it was all these mishmash of 2 parts of a sentence that would have a gap in between. So he'd say the first part of a sentence, stop to think about what the second half had to be, and then he would take the last letter of the first sentence and add it to the second part of the sentence as if it was joining up, but really there was like a good 2 or 3 second gap in there. So, which apparently, according to speech therapists, is like has a name and is common. So I was talking to Carlo about this, and I said, you know, I'm really worried that he's going to say the wrong thing. He's going to be perceived as being rude, which will break his sweet little heart, because you know him. He just wants to please. He just wants to, you know, he just wants to be a good boy, which is amazing. And I know that if he ever thought that he was being rude, he would just be destroyed. And I did say to him the other day when he said, oh, you know, I've been roped into this conversation, I said, listen, mate, I know you're 16 and I know you're getting to be a teenager and you're pushing the boundaries, but don't think I won't push back. And yeah, I've been quite taken aback by this massive influx of vocabulary and how to deal with this vocabulary. So I was speaking to Richard about it, and I was like, you know, I don't really know who to, is this a speech therapy thing, or is this a therapy thing where you have to understand social contexts and social behavior and understand, you know, those sorts of things. And we sort of came up with it's probably a bit of both. And then I was talking to Carlo, and he was like, well, yeah, it is. It's a bit of both. You know, it's speech therapy I mean, he's got the words, and he just really needs to know how to apply them in the right context. But I'm really hoping the problem is, you know, we in society are so unaware of you know, the analogies we use. When, you know, we're quite descriptive in, especially at home, and it's probably even me that's done this. You know, I've put this on myself, because I am extremely loquacious, and I do have a wide vocabulary, and I do not shut up. When Beau was nonverbal, coming up on 1, I thought that maybe I was talking to him too much, or maybe I was talking too much and wasn't giving him a chance to talk, and that's why he was nonverbal. And so I stopped speaking to him for a week. I didn't speak to that poor kid for a week. It wasn't it. But I am. I know I am. And I know I use a lot of analogies to explain things. And I'm wondering if, you know, he's heard me say things like, oh my God, that's so triggering, or, you know, I talk about work or something and I was roped into this or that. But he has to understand the context. I'm at home and I'm saying I've been roped into this, or I'm on the phone to a friend. I don't say it to the person that has roped me into the conversation. I don't say to the person that, you know, they've put me into a state of frenzy or whatever it happens to be. So I'm really sort of, I'm at that stage. I'm at this really interesting stage. I'd love to hear what you think about this, because I'm really at that stage where I know kids, you know, hey mum, what's a crocodile? See alligator. You know, look up alligator, what's a crocodile? But I really don't know how to tackle. I mean, you know what? How many times have I said that in Beau's 16 years, 17 years coming up of life? I don't know how to do this next stage. every single stage has been, I don't know how to do this next stage, right? I've got it. I don't know how to do toilet training. Oh my God, I have no idea how I'm going to do this toilet training. I don't know how I'm going to get him from Southern Autistic into mainstream. I don't know how I'm going to get him to, expand his foods. Every single stage, I haven't known what I'm doing. So I'm kind of used to that. I'm not feeling, anxiety about it or anything like that, because being here and expect to be here over and over and over again. But I would really love to hear your take on it, because he's now dealing with a senior school setting of teachers that are speaking to him like an adult. The year 7, 8 and 9 teachers, they all sort of circulated around year 7, 8 and 9, and so they all knew him. But the 10, 11, 12 teachers, they all circulate around 10, 11, 12, and he's new to them, even though he's not new to school and they know he has autism. But he's a big looking dude, and he's right, and he looks 16, and so to speak in a more simplified manner to this great big hulk of a boy, even though they know he's got autism, he really isn't taking home the message, and he really isn't communicating what he's trying to say. He's taking things and he thinks that they apply to the right, and it's not going to do for him. It's really not. So I don't know. I think this is a bit psychology. I think this is a bit speechy. Maybe it's a bit OT. I really don't know, other than writing to the school, but he still needs to learn it, which means I've got to come up with some sort of way to teach this child context. I mean, how to understand that, okay, that it is your primary cortex in your was it synaptic, or was it sensory, in his sensory primary, it was his sensory primary cortex. That you're trying to say you've got a sore arm. Everybody at school is now teaching you that it's not a sore arm, it's actually your brain. Your arm is not sore at all. It's your brain that is interpreting this as sore. So now he's saying, well, it's not a sore arm. It is my primary sensory cortex that's doing this. But people don't speak like that. So I have to teach him how to change his language into an appropriate, the right areas. And I honest to God, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing. Peace out. Would appreciate a hand. Not just from you, Stephen.